Hello. My name is Maria Oreska and I'm responsible for product development at Inphinity. Since the demand for Inphinity Forms SaaS is increasing, I decided to record this video to showcase how you can use the REST integrations when you are using Inphinity Forms full SaaS deployment. Now, let me quickly create a new editable table. Yeah, I have here this interactive but still read-only table, the Qlik-native one. So I can very easily go to the custom objects, Infinity Bundle section, and here I find form general extension. That's the editable table. When I hover it over the table, I can easily convert existing table into the editable one. Naturally, I need to say where my manual inputs will be stored. And that's exactly when you need to go to the Infinity portal. For trial licenses, it's demo.myinfinity.com, and for paid licenses and NFRs, it's infinity.app. Both of these portals have the section Infinity Forms SaaS, where you manage data storages. So let me say that I'm creating a new data storage right now. Type is general, it's this editable table. And when I click on the button Create New Form, it's created. And this, what's called Form Instance ID, is a unique identifier of the data storage we need to copy and paste into the Properties panel to make this table working well. To add manual inputs, I click on Add Field, say that this is going to be a note, and I can add another one, let's say priority. Column name is name of the field, how it's called in a data storage. And label is what is shown here for the end user. That's especially useful when you are using the databases, because quite often the technical names are not understandable. So let's say it's going to be stars and with this beautiful color. And it's ready to be used. When I click the Save button, the data is stored on Infinity server. So I can refresh this user interface and see that in my data storage, new data storage, there already is some data. If I want, I can download the XML file to see what's exactly in there. But what we want to do right now is to read the content during the reload of the application. So let me create a new app. Go to the data load editor and show you how easily it can be done. So I'm going to create a new connection. It needs to be the REST connection, and URL. The structure of URL is very simple. It's always https forms.infinityapp/form instance ID. So again, we are using this unique identifier /JSON. Method is get, because I want to read the content of this file right now. All these things can be as default. And in query headers, we need to create authorization 1. Value is bearer, and the token of the form. And that's what I can find under settings of this very specific form. And I need to click on this create API token and copy and paste it. Perfect. Let's call it REST get, I don't know, something, and create this connection. Now I have it here, so I can look for the data. As you can see, it knows by itself that the response type is JSON. And when I click on root, I see the content of the data storage in the table structure. As is described in the documentation, the key parameter, the key field, is the combination of all key dimensions. Until Infinity Forms 11.0, all dimensions were key dimensions by default. And after this release of Infinity Forms 11.0, that's included in Infinity Suite, May 2022, you will be able to define also non-key dimensions. So this is the combination of all key dimensions. And if you need to change the separator, it's done in the Properties panel, Form Configuration under Advanced Settings. Let's try it. So I can insert the script, load data, and it's here. If I need to transform this key, I definitely can use the subfield function based on the separator that's used. What was the second one? Okay, it was a name. And the third one is city, region, or anything based on what I have in my data naturally. So it's up to the developer to define the right structure. Okay, great. Another option that's supported is the post method. So if I don't want to read the data in my script, but I want to fill the data, I want to save the data from the script into the Infinity form. That can be used for example, pre-filling information for users, but it can be used also to store metadata about which IDs were processed, when it was done, I don't know, whatever, any sub-calculations or anything you need to store, you can do that. And again, let me show you how easy it is. So let's create a new connection. Again, it's going to be REST. As before, the URL starts with https:/form instance ID without any spaces /JSON/submit if I want to use post method. Request body needs to contain the data in the JSON structure, JSON format. That's what we specified in the URL. So, for example, let it be, as I know, this key I'm using consists of 3 parts. So the first one is a number, the second one is a name. Okay, the best would it be to use something that I have here so I can see the data here. So let me copy, for example, this one for Chris Armstrong. Naturally, you can create a completely new key, but you need to be sure it's in a data model then if you want to show the data from form in the forms object. Chris Armstrong, Northeast. Also, please note that the key as a field is called underscore key. Then we had this field note and priority, that's technically nothing else than a number. And if we want, we can create a new field like approval And I know that I want it to be a traffic light, so it should contain values from 0 to 3. And this value will be represented as a circle colored by a specific color based on the value. You will see. Okay, so this should work. And let me scroll down, let this be as default. And again, in the additional request parameters, we need to define the authorization. And again, it's bearer and the very same API token. Let's call it REST post. And it seems it's working. So let's try it. The way how I do it is that I use the very same structure as was generated by the get version of this call, just saying or just using the name of this post connection. Okay, so let's try it. There is nothing in this table in my data model because I didn't load any data in a data model. However, as you see, Chris Armstrong has a node here that wasn't here before, as well as the priority. So when the application is reloaded, what we defined in the body of this call is stored in an XML file in a data storage of Inphinity Forms SaaS. And as I mentioned, we also created a new field that was called, I think, approval. Hopefully, yeah, we see there is the value 3. And when it comes to type, I wanted it to be a traffic light. So I see it's approved. In case you don't want to create a new connection every single time you want to read a content from a different form instance ID, or every single time you want to store data in a different form instance ID or store different data, there is a cool way how to do that in Qlik itself. And it's the option to use with connection parameters. The way how it works is that after this definition of the source, I'll state with connection, and here I can define parameters that overrides what's in the connector. It can be URL, it can be header, in our case authorization, bearer, something something, and it also can be body. And to define the body, you definitely can use Qlik variables. The only thing that needs to keep in mind is that it has to have the structure of the JSON file. So this is the URL. If I don't want to use that, I don't need to. Also, feel free to search for with connection in Qlik help. As I mentioned, it's a Qlik-native functionality. The last thing I want to show you is a small hack when defining this body within a variable. So in my post bonus, this is the body. No. This is how I prepared for this video. So in my REST post definition, I have this body. And when I want to define it as a variable, as you see, it contains a lot of double quotes. Due to the Qlik technicalities, what you need to do is to replace them replace every single double quote with 2 double quotes defined as characters. It's because of the escape symbols for double quote. So that was the hack, and this is the end of this video. Honestly, I'm quite new in REST integrations, so in case you have your own best practices, thoughts how to make it even better, please share here in comments or via email or however you want. I'd like to learn something new. In the next video, I will show you how to integrate Inphinity Forms SaaS with Qlik application automation. Until then, enjoy Infinity Suite SaaS, guys.